Unfortunately, a lot of things in life are hard, but it's harder when you're trying to do something that nobody's forcing you to do and you hate it. That's probably the worst position that you can be in. And I just got done washing dishes and had a actually I ran a load of laundry. I ran a load of dishes and I do everything I normally do. And one of the pots that I put in, I guess it was way too oily than it should have been, and oil got basically all over everything. And not just oil on it, but you could tell that there was remnants of oil everywhere. And so it had like water spots where water spots normally aren't. And I was like, oh, everything's like slightly like 0.1% oily. And like now I'm like, okay. So I salvage what can be salvaged, put that up. Then I have everything in my kitchen, I mean, in my sink, all the stuff that couldn't be salvaged. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Either I'm going to put it all back in the dishwasher and rewash it, or I'm going to break out the soap and the sponge and clean it myself and then put it in the dishwasher to dry. Or I'm just going to leave it in the sink all piled up and do nothing about it. But objectively, there's nothing that you can do, one, about dishes, because dishes are dishes and they're just going to always exist unless you hire someone else to do it. But also, objectively, what are my other options? Okay, so my options are to either leave it in the sink. One, at some point, that's going to have to be taken care of. Not a good option. What's my next option? My next option is to put them back in the dishwasher. Well, if I put them back in the dishwasher, then it throws me off of my schedule because I wash dishes every single Friday, and every single Friday I turn on the dishwasher. Well, if I do it now, then the whole plan I have for my dishwasher pods that I purchased is going to be thrown off because I'm trying to do something that I don't normally do. Okay, cool. Well, that's not what I want to do. I want to keep myself on my schedule because that keeps my mind very clear. Even when you have certain obstacles and you have certain hurdles to jump over, you have to stay consistent in the routine that you have. Okay, so then I'm like, okay, what is my other option? Break out the not the hand soap, but break out the dish soap, break out the sponge, and go ahead and get these dishes taken care of. Go let them dry. It was a lot of dishes, so I'm going to go let them dry in the dishwasher and put them away tomorrow. Cool. This is the option I chose. One, it didn't disturb my routine. Two, I have to do the dishes anyways. There's no option to just leave them in the sink. And then that was just the easiest way. But nobody's forcing me to live a life where I have to be subject to washing dishes. This is the routine I set for my own self. And I'm here to just say, if you are having a life that you don't like, nobody's forcing you to do it. I saw this girl, she was a young woman crying on social media about going to college. And this is why I make the videos that I make, even though I'm 23 years old. I know 1% of what I will know what next year, right? In 10 years, when I turn 33, I'm going to look back at this channel and say, wow, like I've 100x'd my information, right? But there's also people that are younger than me or older than me or my same age who don't know what I currently know. So that's why I share what I share, because she was crying on social media about having to go to college and not being able to manage classes. And to me, I'm like, who told you to go to college? Who said that was your only option? You could go get a job that you would really enjoy. Maybe you love putting groceries on a shelf. Okay, go do that instead of going to school, right? Because your ultimate purpose is to go to school to get a job, right? You're not going to school just to have a degree and never use it. So why don't you just skip the part about going to school and go find a job that does need a degree? Cool. But the other thing is like, okay, if you're having a really hard time in school, what makes you think you're going to have a fun time at a 9 to 5? What makes you think that? So then it's also, who's forcing you to do that? No one's forcing you to go to school. That's the societal belief. Okay, you have to go to school, have to get a degree, have to blah 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 blah. I personally know people who have not went to school or not finished school at all, have minimal knowledge on what they did. Maybe they started a degree and they finished and they didn't finish and went and got a higher paying job than what my first job was out of college. Awesome. Like, yes, I love that for you. And then there's also people I know who have more degrees than I have, and they have a job that was more than half as much income than I made at my first position. I'm like, you got more degrees than I do. So what's going on, right? So there's so many different spectrums, but I think if you want more options, go seek other options. Because to me, I never ever desired to do anything out of school. I was one of those people that's just like, I don't want to work, I don't want to do blah blah blah. And it was easy to say that through 4 years of well, I wasn't there for 4 years. I graduated early, but it was easy to say that through college, right? It was easy to say that. But then when you graduate, you get a degree and you're like, oh, wait, I actually have to not have a job now. right? Like, don't have an option to like not pay bills and pay for a car, pay for this, pay for that, right? Um, it was a different story when you actually have to come into it. And so I had to take that on reins and say, if I don't want a job and I don't like working, I need to figure out something else to do. Because one, the people in my life, the elders in my life who are doing what they feel is safe because they care about me and they love me and they want me to do what's safe and they want me to be secure. They want to calm me and know that I'm going to be okay with a roof over my head, right? Just because they want that for me doesn't mean I have to go get it through a 9 to 5 or get it through a certain thing. If I want to start a business or start a YouTube or start selling products or start affiliate marketing or whatever I want to do, I'm allowed to go do it. And so don't let people in your life make you feel like you have to be forced to do something. I promise you, we're in the age of Chat GPT. You can literally go on Chat GPT and talk to Chat GPT as if it was a person. Only on their app. You can't do it on their website, but you can go on their app and say, hey, I actually don't like the 9 to 5. I want to go in and do some other thing. What can I do? And open these vulnerable conversations. And that's also why I'm so open with everything, because people in my life, they're like, oh, I did that 20 years ago. I don't remember what I did to get my first job. And I'm like, okay, that's not helpful. And then they're like, oh, well, I didn't I don't remember what I did 10 years ago to do blah, 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 blah. It was all really, really stressful because nobody had any other option besides getting a 9 to 5. And the only way that I was able to think outside of that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5, because there's people that think that way about school. I personally think everybody should go to school, right? Even if you don't plan to get a job, I think everybody should go to college. That's just my own personal opinion. And you can hear that in I've made a video about the secrets that I wish I knew before going to college and all the 6 lessons I learned while in college. And that's a really helpful video, anyways. But that's pretty much like a life. You can't live a life that somebody else built and be mad that you're living it. You build your own life. You ask the questions you want answered. You answer your own questions. You find resources and you build that life out for yourself. So nobody's going to force you to do things. But paying bills is inevitable. Doing dishes is inevitable. Doing laundry is inevitable. But you get to find out your path to it. Okay. So the number one, there's 50 ways, not 50, there's millions of ways to have an equation that equals out to the number one. But everybody's trying to get to the answer is the same answer, but everybody can take a different path. Literally, the 8 billion people on this world can all take a different mathematical equation route to get to the same answer. And that is just everybody's gonna have to pay bills. Everybody has to do dishes. Everybody has to take care of children if you have them. Everyone has to figure out a way to live. Everybody has to figure all these nuances out that we were just given in life, but you don't have to figure them out the same way your parents did, or your mom specifically, your dad specifically, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, your sister. Google, me, like anybody. You don't have to figure it out the same way everybody else did. So find your own equation that works for you, and don't let anybody make you feel like you have to follow a specific route. Because in my life, I was told, like, okay, you wash dishes all by hand. That doesn't work for me. What works for me is having a weekly schedule. Every Friday, I do dishes. If there's something that goes wrong, and like what happened today, I go and I fix it, boom, on that day, and I continue on my routine. I don't stray from it, because that is what makes my head go boop, 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 and just go crazy. So same thing with the groceries, every 2 weeks, regardless, always, 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 always staying on that routine. Same thing about my daily routine. I was just thinking about that in the shower. Like most people, I take a shower at night, but I take a shower in the morning. So all of it is a like unconscious routine. So every single night it's unconscious to go do dishes. Every night it's unconscious to go take a shower. Every morning it's unconscious to go do that. Every single day it's unconscious to go to the gym. Like, I don't think about these things anymore because they are implanted in my head, because that's the life that I chose for myself, and all the things I don't want to do, I've made them so easy to where they're a part of my life. Like, I educate myself every single day. No, like, because I've made it so easy. So maybe you're trying to get to number one by taking a PhD level equation. Maybe you can just do one. Well, you can do -2 plus. What am I trying to equal again? I'm trying to equal one. You could take -2 and +3, right? You still get the same answer. So it's more of an elementary level, but you don't have to go and do derivatives and exponents and everything else. Like, you can like, if the thing you're currently doing seems too hard, simplify it. If the thing that you're doing right now is too hard, make a routine for it. Streamline it. Do it easier. Make it easier. Find an easier way. There's always an easier way, and a way that fits you better and fits your personality. So seek out what you want to find, because I promise you, you're gonna find it if you seek it out.